Hello, this is Marvin Glotfelty. I'm a licensed well driller and hydrogeologist from Arizona, and I'm here with another industry-connected video from the National Groundwater Association. I want to talk to you today about the need to plan for and communicate with stakeholders around unexpected snafu type situations that do arise. And I was reminded of this recently when my firm did an extensive water sampling program. This was a need to sample from a canal and multiple wells, each sample being comprehensive drinking water sample. So this was a literal pickup truck filled with ice chests, about 2 ice chests per sample, and we collected 9 samples that day. So lots of ice chests to be filled and sampled, and lots of vials to be filled, all according to EPA protocol. So we did this. And multiple people from multiple staff from our firm, other client representatives, and so on, drove around for a day and did this, and submitted the samples in that EPA protocol to the analytical laboratory. And the analytical laboratory, which is certified in our state, submitted those samples, some of them to be analyzed by another lab across the country. Well, that's not unusual. Turns out laboratories usually don't have the facilities or enough facilities to do everything, even though we were using really the largest lab in the region. And that lab sent some of those samples to an associate lab in the southeastern part of the country. So that's fine, except for FedEx had a boo-boo. And FedEx did not get the sample there in time. They were supposed to get it there overnight. The next day, it arrived about 4 days later, at which time the temperature was above 6 degrees Celsius. The temperature, according to EPA, has to be maintained below 6 degrees Celsius. And there's a reason for that, so that you won't get any biological growth that impact the chemistry. Well, it did not meet that standard, and there was a need for it to meet that standard. So we are going to have to resample all this stuff and re-coordinate all these schedules. And so what could we have done? We can try to sue FedEx, we'll lose. We can try to harass the lab, we'll lose there. They're in the middle, you know. And so you're kind of vulnerable to situations like this. And it's not the only one, it just happened to have happened to me. So I would say that the thing you can do, it goes back, so like so many things, to communicating with the client, with everybody about risks. Do your best. And if you have to have a redo, they're not common, but they happen. And you know, if this isn't even the most extreme example. The most extreme example is when we do depth-specific water samples. That's opportunistic data. We will not be able to go back and re-drill that well and re-sample that expensive, you know, isolate that zone. That's a big deal. So if something like that busts, and it does from time to time, we've lost the data. It's just gone. So at least we have a resample opportunity in this case, even though it's you know, it's an eye roller. It's very frustrating, but it's something that you do bump into. So as we interact with our clients, who of course don't know about this stuff, we need to let them know that these things can sometimes happen, so that it's not, you know, that, because everybody tends to default to the blame game, and fortunately we're not incurring that, but sometimes you can. So to deflect that, you know, be a good communicator all the time, and you know, be mindful of how that's received too. You don't want to come off as a whiner, but you just have to say, well, you know, these things can happen, and it was, you know, I did my part. And have your paperwork, your tight paperwork in place. When you're doing any water sampling or soil sampling, paperwork is really critical. And so keep that tight, keep that in place. With that, I thank you, and I'll talk to you next time.